When you're in a high-stakes business deal or maybe a really intense debate, what makes or breaks your success? It's usually not the big fancy vocabulary. It's the small words, the subtle choices that can totally change the vibe of a conversation before you even know what's happening.
So let me ask you something. Straight up. Does your English really fit the situation you're in? When you're negotiating that critical contract or you're trying to win an argument, is your language just correct? Or is it strategically effective? There's a huge difference.
And this right here, this is the absolute heart of it. Think about it like this. Being grammatically correct, that's just the price of admission. That gets you in the door. But true effectiveness, the kind that actually persuades people, that leads teams, that builds connections, well, that comes from choosing your words to build the exact atmosphere you need to win.
Okay, so to really get a handle on this critical skill, we're going to start with something super simple, talking about the weather. I know, it might sound a little basic, but trust me, it's the perfect way to see how tiny little word choices can create massively different impressions.
So check this out. We've got this common Japanese sentence. All it says is a simple fact. The temperature is going to go up to 20 degrees around noon. Now, you could translate this into English correctly in a bunch of different ways. But, and this is the important part, each one of those translations has a completely different strategic purpose. And here we go. Just look at all the options we can pull from one simple idea. We've got 5 totally distinct choices here. There's a natural version that's perfect for just chatting and building some rapport. Then there's a formal one that you'd put in a report, and we even have one that sounds like a professional weather forecast. They're all saying the same thing, but man, do they feel different.
Let's really zoom in on a couple of these. On the one hand, temperatures will rise. That sounds official, objective, perfect for a formal business analysis you're writing. But then you have, it'll warm up. That's personal. It's friendly. It's the kind of thing you'd say to a client to break the ice before a big meeting. Same fact, 2 completely different tools for 2 different business goals.
And here's another fantastic contrast. The colloquial option uses this active, energetic verb, climb. It just feels more dynamic, more conversational. The weather forecast style, though, it's impersonal, it's detached. And you know what? That can be incredibly powerful. Using a tone like that can establish you as a neutral expert, which is a killer position to have in a tough debate.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This is kind of cool for talking about weather, but what on earth does this have to do with my career? How is this going to help me close a deal or win a negotiation? Let's connect those dots right now.
The answer is everything. It has everything to do with it. That skill, that mental muscle you use to pick the right nuance for the weather, it's the exact same one you need to frame a proposal, to reassure a nervous client, or to project authority in the boardroom. It's all about consciously, deliberately engineering the atmosphere you need for success.
All right, so how do we actually do this? Let's get practical. Let's take this principle and build a framework that you can use in pretty much any high-stakes situation.
Here it is, a simple but incredibly powerful checklist. Before you walk into that important meeting or hit send on that email, just run through these 4 steps in your head. 1, clarify your objective. What do I want to get out of this? 2, consider your audience. Who am I talking to? 3, select the optimal tone. What's the right vibe here? And 4, control the atmosphere. Use your words to build the exact environment that gets you what you want.
This all really leads to a pretty fundamental shift in how you should think about communicating, especially in a professional setting. It's about moving away from just simple translation to something way, way more powerful.
So here are the key takeaways. From now on, start thinking about your intent, not just the literal meaning. Remember that the context, the who, what, where, why, is what gives your words their real power. Your vocabulary, it isn't a dictionary, it's a strategic toolkit. And every single word you choose is a tool you're using to build the atmosphere you need to succeed. So let this be your new mantra. Say it with me. My goal is not to translate words, my goal is to communicate intent. When you can do that so powerfully and so precisely that you achieve your objective, well, that's when you know you've become a true master of communication. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to take with you into your next meeting, your next presentation, your next debate. Tomorrow, when you speak, what kind of atmosphere are your words going to intentionally create?